As of now, Germany's defense leadership is escalating the warning. Defense Minister Boris Pistorius has described the Iran war as an economic catastrophe, saying the global fallout is already visible and worsening.
To make it crystal clear, this war is a catastrophe for the world's economies. The impact is absolutely evident already now after a little bit more than 2 weeks. The closure of the Hormuz Strait has an impact for all the region in the Indo-Pacific, including Australia, but foremost, especially for Japan, depending by more than 90% of imports via the Hormuz Strait. So this is a real impact, and at the same time, the European partners and Germany as well highlighted from the beginning on, we have not been consulted before. Nobody asked us before. It's not our war. And therefore, we don't want to get sucked into that war, to make it crystal clear. And what we need is now a diplomatic solution as soon as possible. We need end of shooting and killing. And that is addressed to US, of course, but mainly to Iran, which is attacking its partners in the region.
A major crack in the Transatlantic alliance is now visible. Frank-Walter Steinmeier has openly rebuked Donald Trump over the Iran war, calling it a disastrous mistake and a breach of international law, marking Germany's sharpest public break with Washington in years.
Our foreign policy does not become more convincing just because we do not call a breach of international law a breach of international law. We must address this with regard to the war in Iran. For, in my view, this war is contrary to international law. The war is unnecessary and a politically disastrous mistake.
Berlin's warning goes even further. Steinmeier says this war could permanently damage US-Europe ties, comparing it to the fallout after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. His message is blunt. Trust in American leadership is eroding, and there may be no return to past relations. Now Spain is escalating the pressure. Pedro Sánchez has refused US military access and warned this conflict is far worse than the Iraq War. Europe fears a prolonged crisis with serious economic and political consequences. Sánchez also delivers a stark strategic warning. He says Iran is not Iraq, but a state that has spent 40 years preparing for a conflict like this. That raises fears of a longer war, deeper regional escalation, and consequences that could spiral far beyond the Middle East. The sharpest charge is moral. Sánchez says global silence is not neutrality, but complicity in an unjust war. As Europe openly challenges Washington, the Iran conflict is no longer just a battlefield crisis. It is exposing deep fractures and distrust within the Western alliance.
And confrontations on the ground, that the war continues for a day, months, years. This disaster in Iran may happen soon, or the nightmare in Iraq may be repeated, but this time multiplied by N. And that the world, Europe, and therefore Spain suffer the economic consequences, the humanitarian drama, the security crisis, even greater than the one suffered in 2003 with the Iraq War. In short, we say no to war, and even no to the war that was created together with our parents and grandparents 23 years ago, millions and millions of young people. The same no that we announced hours after the first bombs fell on Iran.